Hello, welcome to my home. I'm Jean. Welcome to Bye Bye Loneliness Chat and Collage. We'll do a little bit of that today, but first I want to show you what I made because some of my collages that I made with you all were card size, but some were larger. So I needed a portfolio and I didn't have to buy one. We're creative here. We make stuff. So I got a box from a Home Depot box, and I just cut. See, I cut here. Let me take out the collages. You just cut two pieces from your box so they're same size, and then to have a little bit of space at the bottom, you know, you just sort of bend it. It doesn't have to be exact, but you just sort of bend one side, get out whatever kind of tape you have. I used packing tape, and I'm not sure how well you can see this, but this is my little portfolio for the collages we've done that are more like these sizes, that don't fit in a little box that I have. And then I put them all in here. I had a piece of twine. This is all, you know, makeshift. You can buy portfolios. Maybe you can find one at your local Art Parts. We have a store called Art Parts where they have all kinds of used art stuff, or maybe a thrift shop. And maybe they're not even too expensive if you go online and look for one. But I decided I'd make one. Ta-da! And then I have a poem. Last time, video number 24, I read a poem by Patrick Phillips, and then I used the structure of his poem to write my own poem. And I wrote probably 3 or 4 using Patrick's structure. And last week I wrote, the one I wrote was Having a Coffee with You. And Patrick's poem is called Having a Fight with You. And they're really short, and it was just an easy way to get my brain started to have this structure. So this one I'm going to read today is called Having a Sunday Drive with You. Is like floating in a bubble bath in a shimmering ice-covered lake, or peanut butter chocolate-covered cornfields. It's like living on the full moon, buying cheese and bread in Paris, like picking yellow tulips from a spring snow. Having a Sunday drive with you is never, ever fluoridated. That whisper that says, listen to the scurry of dirt roads. My nostrils a sizzled forever stamp, walking to the hot pepper of Machu Picchu. Your eyes let go of the wheel to steal a kiss. So that was a nice one. The one I wrote about having a coffee with you was a little snarky. So I decided to do a nice one. Last video number 24, we were working on this one. And I ended up, I think, keeping it pretty much the same. I found the dove here, the girl reading, and I really like the giraffes. And in that little opening, the archway, I had tried various things, but I liked the clock and the grapes the best. And today, I keep a bunch of buttons that I found at the Art Parts store. And I thought maybe I could find a little purple button, and I did. And I thought I could glue stick that onto the grapes, and I wonder if anyone would even notice. So I think I'll do that real quick so I don't forget. And I already signed it because I signed all my collages. we're artists. Yeah, we're in this little community, our little art community, chat community here. So let me get some glue on this button. There's usually one side's usually flatter than the other. And I just put that on there. And we'll see if anyone notices. Well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. So it's right there. All right. So we'll put that one aside. That's done. And what else did I want to talk about? So I got the poem. Oh, I know usually when I chat with you guys, I'll think of something I did in my younger years and wonder, why the heck did I do that? I don't know. Why the heck did I do that? One time when I was visiting family, I have a pillow behind my back. I'm comfortable on the couch, my water bottle here. I do all my collages here. I've even made large ones. Done them all on the couch. You can be comfortable, have some music on, listen to an audiobook, just spend some time with your own thoughts and creativity. And so when I was thinking about one thing I did in my younger years, I was visiting family back east, and I thought, well, I think I'll go down to the ocean, which was a good 3.5 to 4 hour drive. So I did. I went by myself because I thought I could spend the night somewhere and just enjoy, a day and night down the ocean. And I drove all the way down there. I left early, got down there, found a parking spot, went up to the boardwalk, looked at the ocean, turned around, went back in my car, and drove back to, I think I was staying with my parents. I know. It's like, I think when I got there, the feeling I had in my heart, in my whole body was, when I go to the ocean, I always go with friends. And it's like a really fun time. And being there by myself didn't feel right. So it was almost like I was a robot. Go to the ocean, looking forward to it, get there, look at it, turn around, get back in the car, drive home. I used to like to drive back then. I could drive for 6-8 hours, no big deal. So that was one thing I thought about. And so let's tip down the camera to our workstation for the next collage, for our video number 25. Okay, let's see, I did this. I think I'm getting better at getting it on the first try. Moving it over here. Okay. Maybe moving it down a little bit. And no, I never got it on the first try. I think I'm going to get it on the first try. That's close enough. All right. So I found this card, one of the freebie cards that comes in the mail. Thoughtful Connections. I don't know who they are. And even if you use a card that has some words inside that you don't want to use, you can take an image and cover that up too. The envelope, put that aside. And the first thing I always do is I want to find my background. So here are a bunch of images. I'm going to put the images aside for a minute. Found some that I liked. But I usually start with a big pile. And yes, that's my head. So I went to the travel section of some brochures that come in the mail, some junk mail, and I found this image. And then I went to my calendars and I found this image. And I thought, I would like both of them, please, because why just one when you can get the ambiance of both of them. So I really like the sky. And you can always move this down a little further if you're going to use two pieces like that, just from the how much of the sky and all that, I guess whatever that is. So I think just about right the way it is. So I would put these two together. And I don't know if you saw this, but if I have a window somewhere in my collages, I like to cut them out and put something in there. So I put my cat there and my face there. All right, so I'm going to put these images aside for a minute and glue stick this down. All right, and another thing I did when I was younger, it was in the, I think it was 1990, and I don't know if I told you this story, but I bought a house, and I wasn't making that much money, but the houses weren't as expensive back then, so I want to get my face and my cat on there a little better because I don't have us glue stick down. So a glue stick, oops, and yep, still there because this was the back of the window. And that needs a little bit of glue. Hold that down. All right. And for some reason, you know, I don't know how old I was in 1990, whatever. Let's see, 32-ish or 35 or something, or 26. But I was young, but I didn't think about it. I said, well, I'm going to look for a house, you know. I was renting a little apartment, and I started looking. And I started looking not seriously. I happened to be in this small town, and on the corner, they had a real estate office. So I went in. That was my looking. I went into the real estate office and said, I'm thinking about buying a house. And all of a sudden I had an agent. And he goes, where do you want to live? I said, I don't know. All I knew was I wanted a single family house. I didn't want a condo because my dad had always told me never get a condo because you'll be paying HOA fees and they'll go up and up and up. Anyway, so he started showing me what he had available, and too expensive in Boulder, but in that town they were not as expensive. So how I started here, switching out from that story, first I got a bunch of images. Let's see how I can do this so you can kind of see my process. At first I thought, I'll put this train on the edge here. That would be kind of different and cool. Like you're not expecting that. And maybe this dog down here. My cat, because I like to get my cat in there, somewhere over here, and I would undo my finger so I could make my finger like come off from the edge. So those were a couple ideas I had for this collage. This picture of pudding, but then that covered up too much, so nope, that wasn't going to make it. The puffin, maybe. So I went through and I liked the dog with the ears kind of flapping back, but that didn't look quite right either. Over here, maybe. So some of these were maybes and some were like, no way. Like this one, that would really be like so different than this picture, which looks like it has a castle and it's, you know, in a European country someplace. But sometimes it's fun to put things that look like they don't belong. That just blended in too much, even though I like the idea of a human figure looking down on the scene, which is always a fun thing to do. a wolf or coyote, I'm not sure. Look that there, like he's standing in the water. No. So what I ended up with was, so in the windows, I got that. I had this from a card that came in the mail, a junk mail card. And this little boat, put that in the water. And this pig, I was going to have the pig standing on the roof here. My head, oops, I probably glue sticked it down, but my head will go in there. So what I do, if I glue something down, and I want to try and unglue it, I get out. I might not be able to do it this time. Oh, looks like I can do it. Okay. Kind of just get up the edge a little bit. Glue stick is pretty forgiving. You know, if you have something that's been glue sticked for a long time, it'll stick on there really tight. So put my head. I don't know why, because I just liked it. And this bird, so I wanted to put the like hummingbird. And then I have had this image of shoes for a long time, and all of a sudden it feels like they go right there. And that's how it works. You know, no rhyme or reason. You just get your background, and you don't know why you really like the background, but it appeals to you. And then you start cutting out images, and next thing you know, you're like, I like that. That looks good. So that will be our collage. And for this video number 25. And I will glue stick down those and show you the final result on this card. So it'll be an actual card, and I will find something for the inside and show it to you on video number 26. All right, gonna take the camera, bring it back up, tell you a little bit more about how I ended up with a house when I was just sort of kind of looking. And I bought, it was a 3-bedroom house. It was about the size of a townhouse, but it was not attached. It had a pretty big backyard, and it had this sort of tiny little atrium on the front, just something that stuck out from the living room, but it was all windows on top too. And that was cute. Little front porch and a single car garage. All a single woman needed. And my real estate agent said, oh, another single woman bought a house across the street from here. So because of that, he thought I would like it. And I did. And I bought it. And I had some friends help me move in, and I think it had snowed or something. I can't even remember what month it was, maybe March. And a little bit of snow, and it was during the middle of the week, and everybody had to get up and, you know, go to work. So they just kind of like moved me in. I said, doesn't anyone want like pizza and beer, you know? No, I got to get home. It was like 8 o'clock by then, and all this. So there I am in my house, and I remember thinking, it was the first house I had ever bought on my own. I don't know how this house works. And I was cold, and I went to the thermostat, and it was one of those new fancy thermostats, and I did not know how to use it. I don't even think my telephone was hooked up. This was back in the days before cell phones. So I thought, okay, you know, I had my bed, I had all my bedding, just had to get through the night. I thought I'll take a nice warm bath. So I go up to the bathtub, I was gonna clean it out, and I saw this spider. I was like, holy crap, it was a big black spider. And I'm not thinking, I thought it had a red dot on it or something. Is this a black widow? How am I even gonna sleep? I don't know, I called poison control. So I guess I did have a telephone hooked up. I called poison control, and they said, well, because I had already run water, so I had cleaned it out, and I was starting to run water, and it's floating in there. And they said, well, can you turn it over? and I didn't see anything that identified it as a black widow. And the woman said, no, it's not a black widow, you know, just, you can, I flushed it down the toilet. So I got it out somehow and flushed it down the toilet. Then I thoroughly cleaned the whole bathroom, cleaned the tub again, looked everywhere, on the ceiling, everywhere, underneath the sink cabinet, because I really wanted to take a relaxing hot bath and I didn't want to worry about any other spiders. So that was my initiation into the first night of the first house I bought on my own. All right, well, thanks for coming. I feel a little less lonely. We had a little poetry, story, got the collage going. So I will see you on video number 26. Bye.